Hi everyone, it's Jan from Jan Plans Things and welcome to my November weekly Plan With Me video. This is week 3 and I'm continuing on from what I was doing last couple of weeks, and I'll be using Posca Pens again. So a couple of you guys have asked me what thickness I've been using. Most of the ones I'll be using today are the 3mm bullets, and I also do have the 5mm bullet for the black, and I'll just be using that so I can color in a bit faster. What you can see me doing here is I'm just counting off all the columns, so the grid squares, so I can evenly space the columns. In the past, when I was using my LT, I never had to count because I was so used to doing it. This is a new journal, so I'm trying to make sure that I'm counting in advance. I'm also pre-writing my the letters in the columns. Normally I wouldn't do this, but because I'm using the Poscas and I tend to be a bit impatient, I kind of wanted to do this just in case I stick my hand in it later and smudge the words. So this week I'm going to be doing some flowers based on a design by Marimekko. I think it's their most iconic design. It's called the Unikko? Maybe not. Maybe I destroyed the Finnish language, but it was designed in 1964, and it's probably their most iconic design and print. And first off, I have to apologize because a few weeks back I did a flower layout with the Poscas as well, and then I just I called Marimekko Swedish. I don't know why I did that because I know they're Finnish, but they are from Finland, so I apologize to everyone from Finland. I know that you're very proud of your brands, and this is like a wonderful brand, so I'm very, very sorry, but I'm making a correction now. Marimekko is Finnish. So I'm basing this on their iconic flower design, mainly because it's such a fun print. It's nice and bright and bold and really matching with the style that you can create with the Posca pens, and I think it's actually quite easy to do. So I was referencing the prints while I was drawing this. Like, I am a big Marimekko fangirl. I just love their homewares and stuff, so I think it might be the architect in me. It's like nice, and there's a lot of good black things. and so I had a lot of fun doing this spread. So I'm just sketching it out in pencil first, just to kind of plan out where I want the flowers. The original design of this print just has the singular color flowers that they normally change up the colorway, and they're not normally overlapping, but I wanted to have more than one color of flowers. So I have the foreground with some darker flowers, and then in the back I'm going to have some really bold red ones. So I'm going to work my way backwards with this one. So I'm going to do the red first and then the black, because I find that if you do the red afterwards, sometimes you have to do a couple layers, and I kind of want to speed up the process, so I'm going to do the lighter colors first, and because they're in the background, that's okay, and then I'll go over it with the black. So at the moment I'm using the red. I got this red in the, I think there's 12 pens in the set, and they were just a box that I got from Officeworks in Australia, which is really good. And this is the 3mm bullet. So the Posca pens I found come in a couple of different thicknesses. The 3mm one I find is the most versatile because you can do quite fine lines and also do some colouring in areas. But if you do want to do a lot of details, you might have to invest in some of the thinner fine line pens. What I have been enjoying with the Poscas is that I found that the cost of entry into using this material isn't as much as, say, like artist grade watercolors or something like that. But that being said, some of the watercolor sets that I've been testing in the past, like the White Nights one, they're only $50, and you can basically get every color of the rainbow. So I did like this because it was like a different medium that I could try, and it wasn't too expensive. So that's something I've quite enjoyed, and it's just having to force me to think a little bit differently. Because of watercolor, you get so much variation in the line work, and the Poscas are really, really flat. So trying to pick good designs to do the Poscas with, I've found that I've been leaning a lot on surface pattern design. I discovered the term when I was doing some Skillshare tutorials, actually. So I've been following some Skillshare tutorials on surface pattern design, and I've kind of like, they kind of do a lot of it in Adobe Illustrator with that vector-based design, which I think really leans itself to this type of marker work. Speaking of which, if you guys don't have Skillshare, I have a link in my description which you can sign up for, and you get 2 months of premium access for free, and it's free to cancel afterwards if you found the tutorials weren't working for you. But otherwise, so I started with the 3mm pen here, and then I got lazy and I switched to the 5mm pen, which I kind of had lying around. I used to use Poscas just to kind of draw on glass when I was doing like motivational quotes and stuff on the glass in our office. So I didn't actually think about using them as pens for art until I came across them on Instagram. So I thought, you know, it's a little bit, I thought they might be able to be used for something like this. And after I switched the Archer and Olive notebook, it kind of just opened my mind a bit in regards to the types of materials I could use, because the paper was so thick. And what I love about using Poscas on the Archer and Olive notebook, is the one I'm using now, is that there is just like no bleed through. The paper just stays completely clean on the back, and I can basically just color and keep going over it. I tried using the pens on the LT and they do work, but if I color it too much, they'll bleed right through. And I haven't worked out yet, because my red dots version of my LT notebook is a little bit more resilient than my regular dots, and I don't know if that's just because the red dots have a slightly better coating on them, but I haven't worked that out quite yet. So with these, you can see that I'm leaving out the center, because although you can, if you leave it to dry long enough, you can layer the Poscas, you can put the lighter color on top, but if you're lazy like me and you kind of want to do it quickly, then you can just leave the white area and you can just do it immediately. That's probably, yeah, a lot of the times I'm doing this because I kind of want to do it quickly. And I think the other thing is, I have been doing a lot more complex layouts in the past, and they normally take me 45 minutes to an hour. Something like this will probably only take me 25 minutes. So I feel like sometimes when you're sitting down for the first time, you see these really complex bullet journal spreads, it might be a little bit intimidating to start doing it. So that's just something to consider, because if you find them a little bit scary, sometimes this might be something a little bit simpler that you can try first. And of course, if you look at the bullet journal, you know, introductory videos by Ryder, you can see that, you know, it's meant to be just a list and there doesn't have to be a lot of art in it. And I think the most important thing is for it to keep you organized. And I find that because I do illustrate my bullet journal, and I just love flicking through the pages, it does encourage me to use it during the week. It works for me, but I'm fully aware that that kind of doesn't work for everyone. So I'm trying to mix up the type of materials I'm using, but I am missing my watercolors, so I think I'll be going back to them next month. And it is Christmas, so get ready for probably Christmas cats, because I have not drawn one for 3 months now. I mean, well, I've drawn cats, but cat spreads. I'm lying. It was last month. I'm pretty sure I drew cat last month. Yeah, I did. Oh, well. Maybe a whole month of cats. Space cats? Christmas cats? I don't know. I'll probably, all you guys would probably leave me if I went and unleashed my full crazy cat lady on you guys. But I'll try and keep it in. And so I'm just... I'm going to change the subject now. I'm using the grey just to do the centre of the flowers. I love the kind of like asymmetry in the Marimekko design. Just putting in a couple of the stems. I think in the actual print, the stems all kind of go in one direction, which I probably should have done. But this time around, I kind of just made it up. Should have referred to the drawing a little bit more. And I kind of love how they've got like these little little kidney beans in the center of the flower. It kind of just adds this kind of whimsical playfulness to it. I picked the reds for the background because I felt like they looked like bright poppies, and I really like the contrast to them between the black. And I think this is, I actually wasn't too sure about. I was worried it was a bit too strong. I'm also drawing like little asymmetrical flowers next to the dates. The labels for the days, and I'm gonna be drawing the weekdays in there. I'm using the Sakura Micron to do the dates on the top and not the rotary that you can see in the pen loop, because the rotary tip is metal and I was worried that it would actually scrape the paint off the page. So I'm using the Micron, which I think is a bit softer, and I can draw that on top of the letters. So I'm pretty happy with that. It's nice and bold. It's a simple design, and I really hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks. Bye.